to order of the Nogales Library Board of Trustees for today, April the 12th, here at City Hall. We'll now proceed to item 2 on the agenda, the Pledge of Allegiance. Juanita?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Juanita. We'll now proceed to item 3 on the agenda, the adoption of the agenda. Danitza, your recommendation?
I recommend that the agenda is adopted as is, Chairman.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda for our regular meeting of Wednesday, April the 12th, as presented and recommended by the Library Director.
So moved.
Motion by Ed. Elsie? Second by Marva to adopt the agenda of Wednesday, April the 12th, as presented and recommended by the Library Director. Discussion? Objections? Motion carried. We'll now proceed to item 4 on the agenda, the call to the public. Danitza.
Chairman, there is no one at call to the public at the moment.
Thank you. We'll now go on to item 5 on the agenda, discussion items. Agenda item number 1, security issues. Lieutenant Bermudez. Lieutenant Bermudez, before you get started, we just want, on behalf of the entire Board of Trustees here, we want to thank you very much for the security that you provided for us at the centennial celebration that we had. The 2 officers that you had there were wonderful, and everybody felt very safe. The way you took care of the cars in the back parking lot, your presence in the front, and even inside the library was very commendable. Thank you very much for making sure everything went smoothly for us.
Wonderful to hear, and you're welcome.
Go ahead with your presentation.
During the month of March and April, there was only about 4 instances where police officers were present at the library for a suspicious person, and nobody called it in. It's just officers engaged in their regular patrol duties, observing a person they deem suspicious. They go and make contact with that person and just do a field interview, make sure that they're okay. All 4 of those instances, they were okay, and they were good to go at their leisure. So it was just random people that were there at the library, just walking around or hanging out. Like I said, officers made contact with them. They were deemed okay, and they were free to go. Okay. There was a traffic hazard reported at the library, a couple tires down, but officers responded and took care of it as well. So other than that, there was nothing else reported to us or seen by our officers.
Did you ever have a completion update on your report for the person that broke into the library from the roof?
I did not. I know we arrested the person, the suspect, and we were waiting on DNA as well, just to confirm that it was the same person. But we do believe it is the same person. We're just waiting on the DNA results.
So if you could have that for next month, if you have that.
Yes, I'll get an update.
Okay.
For you, and we'll get that next month.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Jerry?
No questions.
Marva? Ed?
So the person was identified by the police department?
Yes, we do have a suspect.
Apprehended.
They are in, I believe they still are in custody. There was just that awaiting confirmation on the DNA.
Thank you.
Juanita?
No, I just want to reiterate the gratitude to the police force for what you did at the Centennial, for providing all of the security. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lieutenant Bermudez, and once again, thank you for a wonderful job that you did making sure that everybody was safe on that night on our centennial celebration. We look forward to hearing you at our next meeting in May.
Great.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to item 2 on the agenda, Sonoita Building Update. Juan Valderas. I hope you bring us good news, Juan.
Good morning,
Morning.
Chairman, members of the board. Was it a couple months ago when I was last here, we talked about the negotiation that we had going with CenturyLink. So that has been resolved. We have signed a new contract with, which they have rebranded. It's now Lumen. So you'll start kind of hearing us use the term Lumen when we refer to the service, the internet service being provided out there. So that has been resolved. We are working with them and getting all the equipment kind of set up. So I anticipate that they'll turn on that switch within the next month or so, and then we'll be able to provide those services. On the actual design that I had talked to you guys last time, we met with the engineers, the mechanical and the electrical engineers at the building 2 additional times in the month of February, March, to finalize those plans. They've had to make some significant revisions just because that building's a little older, so they're trying to bring everything up to code, making sure that everything is going to be up to code, right? Because we're having to move some load-bearing walls and making sure that we appropriately account for that. And along with that, there's some electrical panels that need to move. So that's kind of put some additional time and effort on their part, but they're on their way. I should get those designs back. They told me either by the end of this week or early next week, and that will allow us to continue on our projects. That's kind of what I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Okay, Jerry?
No questions.
Marva? Ed?
Budget-wise, it's moving along without any difficulty?
Yeah, no, it was, we're using general funds at this point, to kind of do the work that we are currently doing, right? Design and some of that stuff.
And the Board of Supervisors have approved all of that?
Yeah. Once we come to the actual construction of it, that, we'll bring additional folks that will need to be involved in that. But yeah,
Thank you for your service.
thank you.
Juanita?
Yes, I wonder, considering the problems that you met, because of the older building, does that affect the timeline? And do you have an estimate of when they will begin?
I don't have a timeline. I don't think it presents a huge barrier. It's just, they just need to account for some of the items that, because of the age of the building. I don't think it from what they tell me, it's not impossible. What we're trying to do is just, we need to, they asked if we wanted, like, do you guys want to bring this up to code? Well, of course we want to bring it up to code. So, that they have to kind of take that into account. But it doesn't necessarily derail the progress of it.
And will they begin soon on the, do you know?
That I don't know. I'm hopefully by the next meeting I'll have a little bit more information on the actual construction side. Right now we're just trying to figure out, right, because this, when I say mechanical, there's like AC units, so some of the furnaces, all that needs to get replaced, right? And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that building. Like, the furnace runs off propane, right? So we need to make decisions whether we converted that to electrical or maintain it on propane. I think we have decided to maintain it on propane just because of the temperature out there. It kind of drops, so electrical wouldn't necessarily keep up, keeping that building warm. So we opted to maintain it on propane. So, but we have to make sure that propane tank out there is still, in good shape, that will kind of live for the next 20, 30 years or whatever before it needs to be replaced.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Juan, thank you very much. We look forward to your presentation in May, so you can give us an update of when this project is going to come to completion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. We'll move on to item 3 on the agenda, board appointment of Brianna Rodriguez for Rio Rico by the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors. Brianna, would you come up and tell us a little bit about yourself? You need to press the button there at the bottom there, and the light turns green. There you go.
My name is Brianna Rodriguez. I am 22 years old. I played softball my whole life. Played 2 years of college ball at Pima Community College. And right now I'm currently working for Mr. Velasquez's superintendent's office. I've been working a lot directly with the mobile literacy bus that's been going around. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yes.
The library has helped us a lot with that, and the kids are going crazy with them. They're loving it. And a lot of parents have asked us if we can kind of coordinate with local restaurants and stuff like that to create a schedule for the kids when they get out of school early on early releases so we can have that bus there for them.
Okay, very good. And the reason you're interested on being on this board?
I want to try new experiences. I want to know what this city has to offer, what our community has to offer. I've lived here my entire life, but not necessarily knew exactly what there was to offer here. And now, that I'm older, I'm getting to know a lot more people. It's a lot that this county has to offer, this community has to offer that so many people don't know about.
Good. Okay, Juanita.
No, so just.
Ed?
Should Ms. Rodriguez be invited to join the board?
Yes, we'll have to wait until the next meeting to formally, she'll be accepted then.
Oh,
She's just coming to make sure that we're all in accord
Okay.
and go from that point on. Then Danitza, the library director, will take the recommendation from us to the Board of Supervisors. They'll put them on the agenda, approve her, and then we'll seat her at our next meeting.
Okay, real good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Marva? Got it. Jerry?
I had the opportunity to meet Brianna when I was at the library several weeks ago, and the mobile literacy bus was there. And it's really a great little bus. And there are lots of little kids, toddlers there with their mothers. And we've been talking with Brianna about softball and baseball. So I hope to continue that sometime.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's good to have a different generation hop on now.
Thank you.
Brianna, and thank you very much, and we'll forward the recommendation through our library director, and she'll keep you informed of our next meeting. Okay, thank you. Item 4, workshop summaries, summer reading and youth adult summit. Karina Martinez, Denise Ortega, and Laura Rodriguez. And Victor, también. No te me vas a escapar.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Hace unas 2 semanas, Víctor, Karina y yo fuimos al Summer Reading and Workshop en Tucson. Tuvimos la oportunidad de estar en el programa. El evento es más que nada brindarnos ideas para poder hacer nuestro programa de verano, que será en mayo y junio.
Okay.
Estoy planeando el programa junto con mis compañeros. Nos dieron muchas ideas de programas, actividades que se pueden hacer para niños de preescolar, para primaria y para adolescentes también. ¿Y qué más? Sacamos nuestro tema de cómo decorar también. El programa de este año se llama All Together Now.
Good morning. I just want
morning.
to share with all of you some of the activities they show us up there that we want to implement in the summer reading program. The presenter there actually put us like hands-on to work on some paintings, drawings. As the theme is All Together Now, we're planning to do something related like friendship, family, love. So that's kind of the route we're going for the summer reading program theme.
Judith, is Eduardo the IT guy back there? What? Miguel. Oh, he's out today? Who's doing it? If Julian is there, see if you could call him. Okay.
Bueno, así como lo comentaron mis compañeras, tuvimos varias actividades en donde nosotros vimos más o menos la posibilidad de cuáles pudiéramos hacer en la actividad del Summer Reading. Hubo varias, las que personalmente a mí me gustaron fueron dos, que fuera Come and Painting at the Library. Es una actividad que se trata para que ellos usen su creatividad, pintar las ventanas de la biblioteca de algún tema, mes o algún evento comunitario que se necesite dar a conocer. A mí me pareció muy buena idea. Esa una de las actividades que nos comentaron allá en el Zoom, a donde fuimos, en Tucson. A mí me llamó mucho la atención esta. Tanto así que pues ya se hizo un flyer, aquí lo pueden ver. Es la actividad que sí se va a hacer aquí en Nogales el 26 y 28 de abril. Ahora sí que esta actividad es más que nada porque vemos la necesidad de que los jóvenes vayan a asistir un poco más, porque vemos que entran muchos jóvenes y actualmente no tenemos tantas actividades para los jóvenes. Y una de las necesidades que se ve es que los jóvenes tienen mucha creatividad para así plasmarlo y queremos darle un espacio para ellos, ¿no? Esa es una, y luego aquí hay otra que esta todavía no tenemos planeado ninguna actividad, pero es una actividad que me gustaría implementar junto con otras. Setting up a Steam Bomb. Es una herramienta divertida como para fomentar la concentración, y donde se juntan como paletitas de cierto modo que hacen como una explosión tipo dominó, ¿no? Entonces es una manera de, como lo comenté, es concentración, porque se van poniendo de tal modo en que si tú dejas de aplastar en un solo punto, se hace la explosión antes de lo debido, ¿no? Entonces son dos actividades que a mí me llamaron la atención. Una ya se está haciendo y vamos a ver los resultados que tenemos con la actividad de esta.
Bueno, pues en los programas que vamos son de gran ayuda para nosotros. Bueno, como yo no tenía experiencia trabajando en bibliotecas, se aprende mucho de las personas que nos dan los entrenamientos. Son personas con mucha experiencia. Agradezco mucho a Danitza y a ustedes pues por la oportunidad de seguir preparándonos, ¿no? En marzo tuvimos la actividad del Egg Hunt. Tuvimos mucho éxito, fueron muchos niños, aproximadamente 86 niños. Creamos 122 canastas con dulces. No se dieron todas el mismo día, se fueron dando durante la semana las que sobraron, ¿no? También les dimos snacks, papitas, galletas, jugos, aguas, y eran más de 300 huevitos los que dimos. Los niños se divirtieron mucho. Y como ya les mencioné, el programa de verano lo estamos organizando y será en mayo y junio.
Gracias por su presentación. Just hold on a minute so I don't take up. Jose, the only thing I wanted to point out is we're making a presentation here right now, but I've noticed when I've watched the mayor and council meetings, and if you're viewing it from the outside on your TV screen or computer screen, we can't see this. If there's some way, because like right now they're making a nice presentation. That's why it reminded me. And I just wanted to let you guys know it's a wonderful presentation, but the public can't see it. I don't know if you can put another camera over there or a screen up there so that they can also, the people who aren't here that are still attending through their computer, so that they can be a part of the presentation, though, because there's a lot of work that they do for this, and even with the mayor and council, but we can't see what's On that, I just wanted to, because when I do it for the mayor and council, when I'm looking at it, I feel left out when they're making the presentation there. Would you please? Thank you.
Share
Oh,
this, they could share their screen.
yes,
or
that's
something.
something. Juanita, do you have any questions?
Oh, yes, I have one question about the,
Who's it for, the question?
sorry?
Who's it for? Because
Oh,
there's
well, that would be about the summer program, the reading
Summer
program?
program?
I just wanted the theme. Is that a national theme or is that one that you adopted?
Yeah, it's a natural.
It's the national theme?
Yeah.
Okay. That's, thank you.
Okay. Ed?
My question is this going on or has been carried out at the Nogales branch only?
The egg hunt? Yes, it was at the Nogales library. Was for the 4 branches: the Nogales, Tubac, Sonita, and Rio Rico.
Okay, thank you.
Marvin?
Congratulations.
Jerry?
No, solamente quisiera decir gracias por todo lo que está haciendo por los niños, porque si ellos van a aprender cómo leer, es un beneficio por toda la vida. So, gracias.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation and everything. Denise, you need to do a presentation? Okay, then you are the Young Adult Summit. Okay, let's move on to the Young Adult Summit.
Okay.
I apologize, Juanita. I thought there was more. I thought all these presentations were together. That's why but no, they're separate, right? Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Now we're the Young Adult Summit.
Yeah, so just last week, Denise and I attended the YA Summit up in Glendale. This was a 3-day workshop, so we learned a lot. We have a lot of new ideas to bring to the libraries, and especially to bring the teenagers into our buildings. And we have a lot of information, so I just wrote some points that I think will work for Nogales. The first one is the library should have more college information available there for teens. We are a center of information, so we need to provide different colleges options, financial aid, all related to help our teens decide where to go after high school. Another thing, we should increase book collection, but more into the diversity in authors, languages. Our population here mostly speaks Spanish, so we should increase also our Spanish collection. Another program that I thought was really interested is the mental health program. Maybe working with someone, a health professional, someone maybe like a Mariposa or any other these programs that we have in the county can help us create this mental health program for the teens, especially when mental health is doing okay, then it comes emotional and physical health. Another point that I want to maybe involve more into the library is have more volunteers. And that will bring them more into the library, and that would be a perfect way to get into colleges. When they're writing their resume, volunteer works looks really good at it. And of course, their teens, more technology programs, more e-readers, printers, 3D printers, vinyl cutters, all of that will make the teens want to participate more into the library, not only reading, but also learning more about technology and other things out there.
Good morning. So adding to what Karina said, something we learned is that sometimes libraries is not all about books. Libraries are involving a lot of media and films, which is the technology side that Karina talked about. Something that was really talked about was the diversity, languages and cultures. It is important that to involve every culture, every language, kind of decenter English and focus on like border-wise. I had an experience this week, actually. I helped a person that didn't speak Spanish or English. We kind of communicated in our own way, but the person went with he left happy and with the service. It was hard to try to understand because he gave me his phone. He's like, "Can you help me with the phone?" And it wasn't in the English or Spanish language. So it was an interesting experience there. Involving music and art. Students really like music and art, networking, and most of all, making it a safe space for them. There's a lot of fun activities that the libraries can work with that we really didn't think about, which was a jewelry making workshop, an open mic. Years back, I remember that we actually talked about having an open mic workshop. It was when Esteban was at the library, and COVID hit, and that kind of got pushed back. Mental health is growing a lot in teens. So they were talking about making stress balls, a workshop, a gardening club. They were telling me that teens really like gardening. So that's something we can probably look into it. And, you know, we got thrown with so many workshops that we could do at the library, so much information. And the main point was the funding. It was interesting to see that we're not the only library that doesn't get like the big funding that many big libraries up in Phoenix get. But talking with other libraries, they don't have that funding available, yet they still manage to get all the technology in, all the workshops in, send their staff for preparation over to different summits, trainings. And all of that is thanks to library friends up in many libraries. Library friends, talking to other librarians, they go out to the community, they set up a booth, they get grants, they get funds hand over to the librarians. So I think it's super important that we have that backup or that, respaldo? How do you say respaldo? That backup from the library friends, to see them out in the community, connecting with other people, other businesses, because there's some things that we can apply to. And Juanita, I actually spoke to Juanita about one of the grants that we couldn't apply. It had to go through the Dollar General grant. It has to go through the Friends. So all these libraries are able to get all these, like I said, workshops, 3D printers, technology, all thanks to the Friends. So I do believe that we need to get that backup from the Friends. Grants, I'm actually working on a grant right now. Hopefully we get it. It's to get the VR system into our libraries. It's to explore the ocean system, something that we don't have because we're a desert. So I'm working on that grant, and hopefully, like I said, our library gets it. My coworkers here, they also apply for grants. Laura got a grant where we got a bunch of spring seeds so we can help the bees. She actually had one of the workshops. Community donations, we are getting known throughout the community a lot. We get invited to a lot of outreach programs. We actually have an outreach program this Saturday, which is for the Autism Awareness Month. Our community outreach programs are actually happening a lot on Saturdays. So that's interesting to see how they are changing. We are getting invited. We actually went to the Rio Rico Resource Fair, and we got invited to another outreach program in May. So the community is getting to know the library, which is really nice to see that we're getting involved in all these programs. We learned a lot, and it was interesting to talk to other librarians, seeing that we're not the only library struggling with teens. Every library is struggling with teens. It's just being consistent and creating new activities for them throughout the year and just talking to them, communicating. So, and I want to thank Danitza for the opportunity of sending us over because we might not have the big budget that other libraries have, but she makes everything possible for us to go to these trainings, to get the funds for the activities that we do. So I really want to thank Dr. Baron as well, and everybody that helps us out with being able to attend to these, because they're important, because we get to learn from other people as well.
Absolutely.
Thank
Danitza, you want to add anything?
I do want to add that all these workshops and conferences are paid for by the Arizona State Library because staff applied for scholarships. And so like the stay at the hotels, the conference fees and everything, paid for because they applied for the scholarships. So staff is doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, that's something also mentioned. Like, we apply for the grants through the scholarships. We have to do essays. We have to do get letter of interest, and many, like I said, the funding. Library friends provide sometimes money to the staff so they can go over to the trainings if the scholarship is not granted to the
Okay,
to the staff.
okay. Marva?
Friends is always trying to bring up money, and we're selling Gym Click tickets right now. If anyone would like to take some, it's 100% profit for Friends.
Yeah,
If you
but
sell the
it's
tickets.
more like I've been here in the library for about 7 years, and I haven't seen friends trying to recruit new members to the friends. I haven't seen you guys offer like, hey, can we set up a booth next to you guys in the community event? Making brochures to get the information out, because I know there's many people out there that don't know what Library Friends is, that don't know what the Library Friends does for the library. So I think it's important for the Library Friends to get out there to the community, talk about the program, talk what they do for our libraries, because there's many people that are interested but don't have that information.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Marva? Jerry?
How many staff members went to the workshop in Glendale? And it was overnight, I guess?
Yeah, so it was a 3-day workshop. Me and Karina applied for the scholarship, and we received the scholarship. Due to the short staff, that we couldn't leave the library, and I guess it's only 2 scholarships per branch. Only me and her were able to attend to that workshop.
But it was 3 days, you said?
3 days,
Oh,
yes.
great.
Okay. Juanita?
It's the YA Summit. Was that the Arizona State Library? Who put that on?
So everything is done through the Arizona State Library?
Is- okay.
Yes.
Yeah. It sounds like a very...
It was really interesting. Like I said, it's interesting to see and to share ideas. There's many libraries that don't have the tutoring program. So we talked about our programs.
Right.
And they want to implement that in their libraries and started as teen subject. So we're like, oh, well, it's nice to see that other libraries don't have what we have. And we're not comparing what they were giving us at the Y. They were talking about connect with schools, go to outreach programs. So we are already doing that. So it was nice to see that our small libraries are still doing so much for the community compared to the big libraries.
Thank you. Thanks for going.
Ed?
I just want to say that Marva has done a wonderful job in monitoring the funding, recommendations, the distribution, and working with the board, and is in communication with Danitza when requests do come in, and
Good.
working together. So I'm glad that Friends have been able to contribute that, but it's the help that Marva has been able to contribute to the entire effort that's made it possible, and I'm glad that it's benefited. Yeah, it's a challenge for Friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that friends don't help. It's just, and I'm not talking necessarily about like money. It's just the communication with the community that many people don't know. Like I said, that there's a library of friends. Many people don't know what they do, and maybe by sharing that information, a store can come up and say, "I want to donate so much here. I don't want to be part of the friends, but here's this money for the library." That's what I mean about more involvement with the community and the library friends.
Go ahead, Marva.
We have little libraries that are still being built, and they will be around the community, and they will advertise Friends, that it's provided by Friends of the Library, and if you want to join. So that's coming now, and I'm not sure when they'll be placed, but that's in the making.
Yeah, but like I said,
That will advertise Friends, and hopefully...
it advertised so much. You have
That should be a very good addition.
It should.
The advertising. And I think the theme that Denise is putting out is the communications to the public to
Exactly.
attract more, because the more people you have in there, the more tickets that we can sell.
We also have, in the insert that Nan is working on, we'll be thanking the donors that we have gotten so far. And
good.
we're also going to put a thing in there about having people, if they're interested in joining Friends, to please, we've got email address now for friends. So we are working on trying to increase membership, but it's not easy.
No, it's not. You're just like a social club, the Lions. We're experiencing the same problem.
Yeah,
You know, it's the same workhorses all the time.
exactly.
And people don't want to get involved, don't participate. Okay, Denise, thank you. Thank you for,
That was one of the reasons why we opted to have our book distribution at the county fair, for example.
right.
That was very helpful for those 3 days where we've done that. And it gets the word out, and we got donations, but it's a start. And I think it's an effective way to work out. Yeah.
And
Thank you
then-
very much, Denise.
Thank you. You guys were talking also about the category of mental health. And I think that that is so important. If you just look
Yeah.
at what happened in Kentucky, it's a 25-year-old, and people, getting this thing out about mental health right now is so important. Making sure other people know what to look for, the signs of it, so they can talk to other people to see that this person needs help. I think that's so important.
Yeah,
So I'm
so-
glad that the library is
Yeah.
stepping up for that. It's very good. It isn't just about books. It's also about recognizing and educating so that
About
we
the-
can prevent tragedy from happening.
Yes.
Okay, I think we've all done with these presentations. Thank you very much to all of you for those presentations. We're going to move on now to item 5 on the agenda, presentation, interlibrary loan services, Sandra Mascareñas. Oh, no, you're next.
You all know me. I've been at the library for 22 years. You should know me by now. Well, I'm a little confused, Mr. Varona, because what do I have to explain about interlibrary loan books that you probably should know by now?
Yes.
So if you have any questions, I
But
mean,
the idea is not that whether we know or not, but we want you to make the presentation
Okay.
to the public so that the public will know
Okay.
offerings there.
okay. I love the program I deal with because you're not limited only to the United States. You're not limited to what we have. You're limited to the whole United States, including the Library of Congress. This is a worldwide program. They don't let me send books to Japan, to Switzerland, that I have had requests for them because of the budget, And I've had not only books, I get requests for music scores. I had scientist that would get books for me. He passed away. Books I only could get from California or Far East. I've had books that I have requested from the Library of Congress. That I choose my patrons because that's serious business, and I have to trust the patron that will return the book in good condition and in time. So it's not to everyone I lend those books. I have books about art, about history. I've had diseases that have helped people. I had a gentleman that once brought me flowers because he was so grateful for the books I had gotten him for his grandson. And I even got books from another patron that wanted the book in German. They didn't want it in English. I was able to get it for him. So it's not only bestsellers. It's a lot of interesting and intelligent books that I get. Of course, I get the bestsellers also. But I mean, it's a huge program that I'm in love with. And I'm doing the ILL for 5 libraries right now. I'm doing Patagonia's also.
Good.
So if you have any questions?
Okay, Ed?
All I can say is that whenever I've needed a book, Sandra is the person to go to, and she's always accommodates. It's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you,
Muchas
Mr. Lewis.
gracias. Yeah.
I really try because I really love the work I do, especially when it's a special book for a special person with a special need. and I can get that book for them.
Juanita?
I have used Interlibrary alone many times and really do appreciate the work. I think it's a great,
Thank you.
a great service that we have.
And by the way, I'm not going to look at the Friends of the Library, but I get a lot of really expensive books that say donated by the Friends of the Library of that library. And I don't mean the bestsellers. I mean really expensive books. I also get the books every year for the police force because they're expensive, and I guess City Hall is not buying those books for them. So every year I get the books for them so they can go, to become a sergeant, to become a captain, to whatever they want to be. So it's like I say, it's a wonderful program. I love it, and I really enjoy doing it.
Anything else, Juanita? Jerry?
Yeah, I think this service is really remarkable, and there are many patrons. I don't know how many actually use this, and they're very grateful for it. And it's a wonderful service. But what I would like to recommend, I would be willing to draft a letter that could be given to them when they get books that they've asked for, and give them information about the raffle. And I'm sure some of them would say, yeah, I really appreciate this great service provided by the library, and I'd like to win a chance to get 2 free tickets to go first class anywhere in the world from Jim Click.
I was going to ask you, if it's the Jim Click raffle, everybody has the tickets already. In Arizona, at least the hospitals, the libraries, the Boys and Girls Club, everybody's selling those.
But I think, what I do with the Nogales High School Hall of Fame is we send out tickets to people, alumni, others, and then they send back their checks. And if they don't, it's okay.
And what about if we bought computers, some kind of technology, and we made small raffles around the country? Go to the businesses, ask for the raffles. They're going to get something for a very low price, let's say $10. They'll buy it for their grandkids, for their kids. I saw that some libraries make sandwiches. They make fruit salads, and they go and sell them over, around the businesses. I don't know. I'm just thinking of something else you could do besides a Jim Click.
Jim Click, we have a $50,000 vehicle, and someone might say,
But remember, it's $25.
Yes.
The ticket. So I was thinking of something lower in price, and we would get more money than a real expensive raffle. That's my opinion, my humble
Jerry,
opinion.
anything else?
No.
Okay, Marva?
I think it's a great service. I really do. And I was just wondering, this is personal though, how long have you worked in the interlibrary loan? I mean, you said 22 years with the library. Did you do something else before that?
Well, I do the front desk when it's needed. I help the Karina cover books. I help
I know you
Laura
do
when
now.
needed.
I meant before you started with the interlibrary, or is that you've done it all
when
the whole
I
time?
applied, it was for the interlibrary loan.
Oh, okay.
At that time, they only gave you one department. They didn't say you're a librarian.
Oh, okay.
I was going to have the interlibrary loan, and I don't know if you remember Mrs. Barraza that worked here at the city. She was going to get the children's, but it was very specific, the department you were going to get.
Oh, okay.
And since I love it, like I say, I have requests of all kinds, all sorts of requests. I wouldn't even think of, like musical scores or something like that, or for the man that was a scientist. I get really interest in books, and of course bestsellers and children's books and all that. So
It's special to have someone in a job that loves their job.
yeah, I do love it.
Okay, Sandra, thank you very much for your presentation.
Wait.
Enjoyed it?
There's one more thing. I know the packets, I know she compiles the statistics. Do you want to go over that?
Well, okay. It's that I'm so in love with ILL, I forget the rest of the things. I do the packets for you. I compile all the information, I know some of you really read them. I know some of you don't. That's okay. The statistics are there. The information is there. I also help the NHTSA with the data report. That's a very, very detailed statistics report for the state. So if you want to have a look, that's also public record. And I do whatever the NHTSA tells me to do.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you something else. Right now, this is nothing to do with ILL. This, after 22 years, I'm very happy with my boss. She's something else. I love my coworkers. We have such a great time helping each other, laughing. We're serious. We resolve problems, but it's like I've never had in 22 years. I love Danitza because of that, because she's strict. She is strict, but she's also very compassionate. She's a very good boss, and really, I'm so happy right now with my coworkers and my boss.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's very important.
Thank you. We're going to move on to the next item on the agenda.
Before that,
Yes, Ed.
I want to congratulate Sandra on her dancing skills that she showed off at the.
Okay, let's move on here. Library Department budget, fiscal year 23 and 24. Councilman Doyle, welcome to our library board meeting. Okay, Danitza, we're ready to go. Councilman Doyle, this item on the agenda is the presentation to us on the library budget that will be presented to you at the end of the month for your adoption of the tentative budget for the city. Go ahead, Denise. No.
Chairman, board, let me just find it. Hold on. How do I? Judy, do you know how to? There was, Chairman, board members, there was a packet next to along with the agenda. Do you all have it? Okay, you're all going through it, great. So that first page, it's the position that I will be asking for. I will be asking for the Tubac Library Clerk to become a full-time library assistant, so we can move her out from the state grants and aid, because as you know, I had mentioned that a few meetings ago.
Excuse me. Do you have an extra packet for Councilman Doyle? So he can move along, see this too.
Judy.
Thank you, Judy. Okay, go ahead now.
Okay.
He can follow along.
So I will be asking for that position, so she will hopefully so that will hopefully be approved, and we will be able to move the clerk from the state grants and aid. That will leave up money so that we can concentrate on Sonoita Library and to expand the hours there. That's that one. And if you go to the third page, we're going to go through the capital project requests that I'm asking for. I will be asking for main library renovations. It looks like a lot. Yes.
So this is the only request for personnel?
Correct.
Just for the Tupac Library Assistant?
Correct.
That's all? Okay, so what we can just talk about the additional personnel that we had, or did you have the additional personnel for the extended libraries in Rio Rico?
Yeah,
You still going to recommend that?
an extended, we already have someone for the Rio Rico Library. We don't,
No, for the Saturday hours in comparison to Saturday hours at the main library. There was a concern by Brian on that.
for the extension, I'm not sure what.
Okay, the question is on personnel. Are you going to continue to have the Saturday hours in Rio Rico? We asked for that last year. You placed it in there. I did see a summary on there that you had that it isn't very cost efficient. And what about the personnel needed to open up the main library Saturday extended hours?
Do you want me to talk about that now or when we get, because I'm going to talk about it, but not right now.
Oh, I thought this was all personnel. Okay,
Oh,
if
no,
you
this
have it
is just,
divided separate.
this is my department
Okay.
budget, and then in the discussion items, there's one, at the end, towards the end of this, I'm talking about Rio Rico, and then
Oh, okay.
Saturday
Just wanted to
hours.
make sure I didn't miss it. Okay,
talking-
go ahead.
All right, so if we move on to the main library renovations, it's $75,000 total, and it's for 2 projects. I will be asking for the epoxy cement floor finish. If you go into the main library right now, that floor finish right now is really outdated, really old, and it's a little tricky sometimes for people. They sometimes kind of slip, and we need to renovate that. I don't think it's been renovated in over 50 years. So I did get a quote. I will be asking, if this gets approved, I will be asking for 3 quotes. And one company stopped by and took actual measurements. So it's going to be a floor finish. It's going to be a wood floor finish. It's going to look really nice for the public. And I need to finish replacing the 2 AC heater machines. 2 AC heater machines were replaced last year, thanks to mayor and council. And right now, one is not working. And that's another $25,000. If you turn to the next page, this is for Sonoida and Tubac Library, furniture and shelves. Hopefully, by the next fiscal year sometime, we will have that expanded Sonoida Library. We do want to get some furnitures out there, some shelves. And I do want to add that I talked to the county deputy manager, and he has been out to the Tubac Library, and they have taken out that sink and those cabinets, and they should be done this week. And so we do want to get some shelves and some seating over at the Tubac Library as well. So the total capital would be $90,000. Any questions on that? The next couple of pages are the budget, the proposed budget that I've been going through and that I've been working on. And those first couple of line items, if you see them to the left-hand side is the line item, it's 001. They all start with 001-440. That first one is MIS library support. That is to pay the technicians to go out to the libraries and do any maintenance on the computers on staff computers, on the printers. So that's always a $20,000 line item that has to be there.
That's using the people that we have here?
Yes, and they go out to all 4 libraries. The next one is training. This line item was actually brought back up because I didn't know we had a line item for training. So I have brought it back up and we're putting in $2,500 for that. The next one is the special events, which for this year we were approved for $10,000 and I put $15,000. Does the board want to increase that or decrease that? And that would be for the celebration in October for Nogales and also the celebrations for Sonoida and Tubac.
So you're saying here on this expenditure, you increased it from 10,000 to 15,000? Okay, I thought you were going to request 20,000.
Is that what the board wants?
Well, we want to make sure we have enough so that this is our community centennial celebration.
Okay, we could do that.
So I would think that, we learned on this last one that things are getting expensive.
Okay. The next one is other professional services, and that's for the summer reading program, any presenters that are coming. And now presenters are going to the different libraries. Rio Rico is getting presenters for the summer reading program. Sonoida is going to be getting presenters. So that line item has gone up a little bit too. Any questions? And now we'll take the contractual services part, which is a big part. advertising and printing, that's when we have, there's I think we had an article in the newspaper. It wasn't an article, it was there was a coloring section in the newspaper article. And so for the library to have a spot in it, that's advertising for the library in the community. The next couple of my items are, I'm just going to go through them because they're just housekeeping more or less. The next one is communications, telephone lines, DSL for all 4 libraries. The next one is the cell phones for myself and the senior librarian. Utilities, electricity, water, and just do note that this is for the main library, not for all the libraries. The general insurance for the main library. Pest control removal is for Nogales and Sonoita Library. The postage, the mailing, and the shipping is for the interlibrary loan program. And as you know, postage has gone up, so I am requesting a little bit more on that. The security and the alarm system are for the Nogales and the Sonoita libraries. Travel, mileage, per diem, hotel. That's when staff goes to the workshops and they're not paid for. So that's the money that's on there. The rental, the lease equipment is the interlibrary loan postage machine. We do have to pay that. The next line item, repair maintenance of buildings, it's the Nogales Library. It's the maintenance of that library. I'm asking for $10,000 because I know there's some issues with the restrooms, the sewer traps, some of the windows need to be replaced. The next line item is repair maintenance equipment inside the main library. The next line item is repair maintenance vehicles, and that's taken care of by in Public Works. So they send the invoice and that gets paid. The next line item I have adjusted, 6896, cataloging, automation, equipment maintenance. That's the Millennium system. That is the checkout system for all 4 libraries. The OCLC programs for cataloging and interlibrary loan. So those 40,000 are paying for 3 services. Any questions on contractual services? Should I just keep going?
No, just keep going.
Okay. Materials and supplies, general supplies pay for the office supplies of all 4 buildings and the janitorial supplies at the main library. Uniforms, special clothings are the shirts. General materials, that's the line item that was changed last year. It used to be in capital expenses. It's for the books, the audios, the movies, supplies from all four libraries. The fuels is the gas and for the truck and the city car. Debt financing costs, that has finance department, that's only finance, so I have nothing to do there. Interfund transfers, I did make a note that that's what moved. That moved from 7930 to 6561, so that's the computer technicians. And so for capital expenses are the main library renovations I was talking about, it's the $90,000. And then you have another page that says E-rate. Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And E-rate is the computers, how we pay for the toners. So this is gonna be the same, it stays the same, it's the same reimbursement that I'm getting again. And the last one is state grants and aid, which is what's paying for the 2 clerks in Sonoita and the clerk in Tubac right now. And that's gonna be different, there's gonna be money left over for the Sonoita, just for the Sonoita library clerks. And then the next page, if you want to go, it's the Rio Rico Library Saturday statistics. Are all of you there? So this is, we're done with that budget part, what I've requested for.
Okay.
Any questions on that part before I get to the,
Let's just deal with the budget part right now.
okay.
Okay? Juanita.
I'm still absorbing.
That's okay. Ed, we'll come back.
No questions with it.
Marva? Jerry? The only thing on training there, just to make sure I understand the training, or I would change that name from training to professional development.
Okay.
But still, I think that $2,500, I would increase that to $5,000 in case there's going out of state or something and you don't get scholarships or something, that there's money, there's professional development to stay current with what's happening. And what I've seen of the training presentations here, there's a lot of things that are coming, and not only for our training, but as Denise can tell you, there's a lot of libraries that have stated there's a lot of good things happening in the Nogales library that they're learning from also. So we need to make sure that there's a reasonable amount of $5,000 is a reasonable amount for professional development for that.
All right, I will do that.
Yes. And then on the library books, I'm just confused here because I don't see a number here. It says move 720. What's 720?
Oh, so it's not a capital expense anymore, as I was explaining. It moved over to the 7020, which is under general materials. It's still the
Where
same.
is general materials?
The first page under contractual services, under materials and supplies.
70, general supplies.
That's where that line item moved.
33. So last year you spent 26,800, and now you're saying you're going to go to 33,000?
Correct.
Okay.
And
I don't like that general materials. I'd like for you to put books on there. Than videos on there.
all right, I will let finance know.
Okay? That's misleading, that general deal. We're interested in making sure that there's adequate supply of books there and they're current, and so people that are coming in there, the video, whatever we're up to date with everything.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. E-rate, we already understand the E-rate and all of that. Okay, now the SGIA, that's okay. That's just current stuff for the taxes and all of that. Okay, now we're on the graph.
Yeah, the graph is the Saturday statistics that staff compiled for the past 7 months that the library has been open and we go on Saturdays.
Can you turn that around?
This one?
You know how? No. Judith, you know. On the graph. That's a good graph you have there, but it's hard to read it.
Where do you go back?
We gotta make sure Councilman Doyle understands the presentation.
But then it's gonna go,
Oh, you don't have it. Yep.
yeah, it's gonna be like this.
How about the last one?
Here we go.
There you go. That's it.
No. Yeah, so we don't have the full program, the Adobe program.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
But you are able to see it on the packet, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we'll go through it. It's different in every spot. In my office, it worked great. I did it. So just to let you know that the numbers here, it's for the weekends. That's what S1 is too. And I apologize, I didn't write down weeks. But you can see that in September, and if you turn to the next page, you have your actual statistics there. In September, we had 2 weekends that it was open and only one person came. The most that it was used was in October. And unfortunately, it has been more zeros than actual people actually going to the library. It was promoted on Facebook, word of mouth, patrons, and there is not, for 7 months, for 66 people to be using the library, and the library's been open for 5 hours on those Saturdays. It's a very dismal number. And to me, that shows that it's not a need for the community to go into the library, and maybe we should be doing more outreach. So I will be closing on Saturdays, and that staff member is going to be working Monday through Friday, and he will be working on the weekends because there are outreach events coming up during the summer. And I did want to bring that attention to the board that 66 is just, unfortunately, not a good number.
Okay. Well, the data, I kind of interpret the data as Danitza is interpreting the data. I mean, we made an effort to increase the hours on Saturdays there, and we said we would look at the data at the end of during the budget period and see how it is. So hopefully those numbers would be a lot greater, but I think we've done our part to go ahead and try it out. Anybody want to comment on that?
No, I checked at both the Rio Rico and the Tubac libraries with the clerks there, inquiring about Saturday patron requests for hours. That's the one day of the week that has the least requests for patron hours in the library.
Okay.
And maybe we can give it a 6 months period to look at and base it from there to see how we look at balancing the hours to the benefit, since it's a public service, to the benefit of the patrons, and proceed with that effort. I know our colleague Brian has, since he's been on the board, has advocated for the Saturday hours. And my argument to that is that the library is probably dictated by the city's hours, and the city's hours are closed on Saturdays.
The main library, yes.
Yeah, and for the main library, yeah. So we would have to identify which one of the library branches would need to get that attention for Saturday usage.
That's a good point. Sandy said, are all 4 library branches going to be closed on Saturdays?
I was going to get to that at that Saturday hours discussion, but we could do the discussion now. And do you want me to go? So I will pass this out to you. These are the outreach events. So this is where our weekends are. So we are working. You have yours.
Mm-hmm. Did you get one for Mr. Doyle, Councilman Doyle?
It should be. No, I did not.
Here, give him this one. I got it. Give him this one.
So to explain the Saturdays and the needs, we are meeting the needs of the community by doing the outreach. Staff is working on Tuesday to Saturday schedules most of the weekends now. Most of the outreach events are on weekends. We have autism awareness one coming up on Saturday. We've had different workshops, different resource fairs, and that's where our weekends are going for the main library. The community needs the community is inviting the library out to the outreach events, and to us, we're meeting that need and exceeding the need. Might not be the Saturday hours in-house, but we are working to meet those needs. And the same goes with Rio Rico. We are getting a back to school blitz, which is going to be on a weekend. We're getting invited to other pop-up events at the Rio Rico, in the Rio Rico community. And for now, I do have a good outlook for Saturdays for the Sonoyta Library. On April 22nd, the Sonoyta Library is going to start opening up for Saturday. So I do have that.
Okay.
But Saturday
The only library that will be open up on Saturdays
will be the Sonoyta.
next fiscal year is Sonoyta. Mm-hmm. And we tried Rio Rico, so at the end of this fiscal year, you'll stop the Saturdays at Rio Rico.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions on that? Jerry?
Yeah. Brian wanted me to address this issue since he's in Africa. And I did call various libraries in southern Arizona to see what their Saturday schedule is. And Bisbee, for example, has 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the Library Journal stated that, they were awarded the best small library in America. And Douglas is open for 3 hours, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. And Sahuarita is open 8 hours, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday. Of course, Sahuarita is a little larger, so it may not be as relevant on these other ones. Patagonia is open on Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then they close on Monday.
No. So they're not open on Saturdays, it's just.
No, Patagonia is open on Saturday.
No, but I'm saying, we're open on Monday, they're not open on Monday.
Right.
Yeah.
And that,
We're closed on Saturday, they're open on Saturday, so we got the same amount of work hours.
Right.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And even Arivaca is open on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then Green Valley is closed on Saturday because it's basically a retirement community and people go there during the week.
Right.
So I think, Brian did make a point to me that, we're trying to get the teenagers involved, the youth, and they're in school during the school year, and they're not really available except after school for a couple hours when the library's open. So Saturday might be a good time for them.
We do have teens that are going into the libraries at the moment. We do have Ed Options, Pearson Vocational High School. And when they get out of school, whether it's at 1 during Wednesdays or at 2, we're getting a good crowd of teens. It wasn't so last year, but we are getting that good crowd again. So, and as each community is different, where you have seen the needs, and as I pointed out, and I did have those outreach events, we are meeting those needs. We're going into the community. Staff is on a Tuesday to Saturday schedule. Once again, it might not be inside the building, but the library is also the entire community. And sometimes it's not inside the building, like the mobile library.
Well, you might also tell them you're going to that. I can't go. I was going to go with you. I have another commitment to the Tubac Arts year-end event
Right.
in Tubac. Well, that's an outreach that we go to they recognize the value of our libraries, though, too. Marva.
She answered that.
Oh, she did? Okay. All righty. Any other questions or comments on this? Because
And it's also something that we could touch base again next year. Maybe this year, going throughout all those outreach events.
based on data.
Based on that data, we'll have that data to bring back. And you know what? People are going to be needing that Saturday. That's something I could bring back to council and next year.
Okay.
I would think that the Nogales Library will be impacted more of a request for Saturdays, but that's got to be trial and error and see what works out and what sort of services are. Whereas the outlying branches, it doesn't seem to be,
No, wait.
and we're still working on that, so.
Well, Sonoita, there seems to be a need in Sonoita
Absolutely.
right now. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm listening to the director for her recommendations. It's not that the main library, or just because it's the main library, it's where the need is
Right.
what we want to fund.
Yeah.
And that's by the patrons.
Because she's got to go up here, but she's also got to go to the mayor and council.
Right.
And say, well, we're not opening here because the need is not here. The need is at the Sonoita area right now. We thought the need was at Rio Rico. The data indicates contrary. So we're going to go to the Sonoita to see. Now, of course, if the mayor and council say, we're going to give you extra money, open up the library on Saturdays, the main library with extra, well, that's a different story.
Sure.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Continue on with your presentation.
Juanita, anything? No. Okay. And I just wanted to end the year with the Library Year in Review 2022 for the 4 libraries. In the 4 libraries, we had 38,411 visits. We had over 72,000 checkouts. That's checkouts of materials, that's books, audios. It's a good number. It's a little lower than than before COVID, but we're getting back up there. We have 29,465 cardholders in the entire county. The pink is a little hard to see, but we have had 14,512 computer sessions. And we've had 136 programs with 3,500 people in attendance. And that's at all 4 libraries. And it's a great number. Staff is doing amazing at all 4 libraries, and it's getting better. It's coming along. And mind you, I just do want to remind the board that in-person programming has only been back for a year. So all the in-person programming, all the outreach events that staff has gone to, it's been a lot for 1 year. So any
Okay,
questions?
that's good data to know. Any final questions for the director? All right, then let's go ahead and move on. Thank you for that. And then I guess everybody is supportive of what we've taught, the dialogue here, and you'll present that. That needs it to the mayor and council. They told me, I talked to the city manager and the deputy city manager, and they said the mayor and council are going to have their deliberations the 27th and the 28th of April. And he'll tell you when it's yours, and then so you can advise the members of the board so that they can be there to also share. Okay? All righty. Councilman Doyle, do you have any questions on the budget?
Thank you. I was wondering in the presentation to go before the council if
you were mentioning where the need was and some hours that would be, and the council might grant extra funds. Now, do you have that in your estimate?
I will add that.
projection that you let us know?
Yes, of course.
That if we do provide the funds, we'll be able to get better service.
Right.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. But we still have to realize that this budget is being presented to us, but then it has to be cleared by the city manager and the deputy city manager before it goes to the mayor and council. So we have to wait and see, because what she's stating now may not be, after it's screened, it may not have that amount of money in it for the mayor and council to look at. Okay?
My question is, does the same type of presentation have to go to the Board of Supervisors?
No.
No.
No, this is an IGA between the county. It's just like animal control. The city has nothing to do with the budget. Whatever the county says, if they say they need $300,000, it's a 50-50 split. No questions asked. If the mayor and council says we need $500,000 to run, it's a 50-50 split. The county doesn't ask any questions. With it, it's just separated. That's part of the IGA.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Should I just stay up here since the next?
Yes, we're going to go on now to the Centennial Community Celebration. Danitza?
The Centennial Committee met a few weeks ago, and we have been in talks to make the big celebration on October 5th, which is a Wednesday, from 3 to 7 p.m. The theme is going to be a carnival. So we're going to have cakewalks, we're going to have book giveaways, we're going to have different vendors. And it's, all ideas are welcome. And right now it's just in the planning stages. I do want to get it approved by mayor and council first, but we will be looking at October 5th. And then we will also be looking at the celebrations for Tubac and Sonoita coming up in September and October. So that's the plan.
And we have met one time only as dealing with this October 5th. And we're only meeting right now on a monthly basis for the month of April, May, June. And in July, we will start meeting twice a month. And when we get to August and September, we will be meeting every week. But to make sure everything runs smoothly at this activity. All right, let's move on to donation to the library. Books, money, assorted items. Juanita.
Yes, my question had to do with donations accepted by the library. Are donations, do they all have to go through the Friends?
No, as a matter of fact, I was talking to finance. If somebody comes in and has a $200 check that they want to, for the library, we are able now, with talking to finance and the director, to deposit that into a specific account for special funding, and that can stay and that goes into the library.
Oh, okay.
So, but anything with book giveaways, they have to be in the county. It has to be, if you have a book giveaway, it can't be a book sale. That still stands in any of the county buildings. So if somebody wants to make a donation, donations could be asked for, but not book sales. That can't happen at any of the libraries.
Okay. Now, you're saying materials as well? You can accept donations for materials or just...
That's just money for material
Just money,
donations. Okay. Yeah, just money.
Yeah, good. Because
So if somebody wants to come and offer a book for the raffle that's been going on this month, if it's approved by the library fans, then the Friends, then that can be raffled away. That's fine.
Okay.
If, for example, I know some community members do call and they want to donate their books, their used materials, that does go through. Like, do we need it? Is it new? Is it going to be checked out? That's a whole different system.
Okay, good. So there is a process for evaluating a donation. Because there was a donation at Sonoita Library of a beautiful chess set. I don't know if you've seen it, but they're going to start a chess club, and it was really lovely. And I wondered if it's a donation directly to the library. Do you have letterhead paper so that you can send, a thank you to the people?
Yes, yes, we do.
Because, and then I wondered if the Friends, we have, Marva created a form for donating. I wonder if we could make that perhaps available at the libraries so that people, if they wanted to donate, via the Friends, they could do that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. We're working on a brochure, obviously, to distribute for the Friends. So Okay, well, thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
And you can follow up on that letterhead with the director on that, okay?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's move on to item
I have
number
a
9.
question on that.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Is that a new policy established by the city where if a donation is made to the library, for example, that it will stay within the library's services rather than going into the financial department of the city and never come back to the library?
That policy has always been there with the city, but it was never brought up to the library since we never had, that question had never come up to me. So I asked and I was given that information that there is a line item. So that's been there.
Because that's really what created Friends of the Library.
That's true.
Yeah, to work with, because that policy was there and implemented from the city side, and it hindered the progress that the library was making in any book requests or whatever other material was being requested by a donor providing the funding. So, okay, thank you. Yeah.
Well, the interpretation that I'm getting here is that if you want to give a donation, especially since the Friends is basically a foundation, right? That's a 501c3. It's easier to take a tax deduction and have it legally legitimate by going through the foundation than it is to go through the city. Okay, the only time, if I want to donate, if I was the owner of the property across the street and I wanted to donate that to build as a library, I would have to donate it, not to the Friends, I'd have to donate it to the city of Nogales. But I could take that as a business deduction and that off of that. And I get a letter from the city that this is the value of that property. But for the little things like, well, it's better to go through the foundation.
Yeah, no, that's true.
All right, I'm ready to move on to number 9. I'm sure, Juanita, you've concluded, correct?
Yes.
Then I'm going to move on to number 9. Saturday hours at main library. Jerry?
Yeah, it's already been covered.
Okay. Item 10, Library Friends Update and National Library Week supplies for libraries, $300. Ed?
Thanks to Marva, we've kept the books for Friends in a very positive way. We've gotten some good donations to work with. And it's given us some flexibility to be able to assess an amount that we could work with the director in the library. And if she sees that, she just contacts Marva, and she goes ahead and clears
And you.
and me
Okay.
in order for the expenditure to be carried out. We've not had any problems. It's worked out very well. It's a good working relationship.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all. Marva?
Marva?
We're okay. We're okay.
Thanks, Ed.
Jerry? Juanita? Okay. We're going to move on to discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of March the 8th, 23. Marva?
I present those minutes for March 8th for approval to the board.
Okay, I'll entertain. Is that a
Thanks to Judith. No, I don't do the motion, you told me.
Okay.
I'm presenting them for approval.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes of March the 8th as presented and recommended by Marva.
So moved.
Motion by Adelcy,
Second.
seconded by Juanita, to approve the minutes of March the 8th as presented and recommended by our secretary, Marva Twaits. Discussion. Objections. Motion carried. We'll now move on to item 6, board reports. Current event summary must be brief and there cannot be any proposal, discussion, deliberation, or legal action taken. Juanita.
Yes, I believe Sonoyta had the Easter egg hunt. I think that was mentioned that, yeah, they did that. And they're looking at starting a chess club. They now have table and chairs coming from the library, and they had this new chess set. Nanette at the library told me that she was interested in creating banners, having some of the young people come in and paint banners for the September centennial. And for that, she was asking for supplies, funding for supplies from the Friends. And I will ask the Friends if they can come up with some so she can buy materials for that. And that's all for now.
Ed?
The only thing I can say is to congratulate the staff, Denita and the staff, for the dinner celebration that we had and the good coverage that we got in the paper.
Yes, it was very good.
Yeah, it came out real well. If we got any publicity out of that, I hope it lasts for a long time. But everything went real well. And the invitations, how the invitations were carried out, I was totally surprised, but it was a good representation of the entire community, and that was the good part at that event. Yeah.
Okay, Marva?
Yeah, I have a question about the pamphlets that we have for the centennial. I know we had 3 boxes of them. I took a box. Are they being distributed further than that? I mean, are they being taken to like Chamber of Commerce and the places that we had discussed taking them to?
You can briefly, okay, because we can't have to.
Yes, they've been distributed. We do have 1 box left, so if anybody knows of any other places, we're more than welcome to let us know and we'll take them.
And could we find out where they've been taken beforehand, though, so we'll know where not to take them again? Yeah. Okay.
Jerry?
Nothing.
And I did attend at the main library the Easter egg hunt, and it was marvelous. I guess all the little kids got there early, and I finally arrived on time, and they had already started everything because the kids wanted to participate. So it was a very successful event. Okay, before I forgot under the last item that we had on the item 11. Also, Judith, thank you for doing the minutes for us and everything. Wonderful job. Thank you very much. You keep us well and the community well informed. Thank you very much. Let's move on to item 7, Library Director's Report.
And I'm putting these as outreach because they are on the weekends. And the Patagonia Family Fun Day, it was attended by Lynette from Sonoita, also from Victor from Rio Rico, and Laura. And they gave out resources, they gave out flyers, they gave out books. I'm going to go on, just keep going, right?
Mm-hmm.
The outreach event at Rio Rico High School Resource Fair, Denise already touched up on that. That was in an evening. Denise and another staff member went. They also gave out the resources for the libraries, for all 4 libraries. The programs, as has been mentioned, the Easter egg hunt in Nogales was a success. We had more children than last year. They all got their baskets, and they all had cascarones, which they put in their they had fun. It had confetti. The Sonora Library also had an Easter egg hunt. There are Easter arts and crafts being done at the Rio Rico and Tubac Library this week. We're also going to be on Saturday, there's a pop-up event for the Autism Awareness Month. It's the first time the library is invited. Once again, it's a Saturday. I will also be there, and we will be giving out little stress balls, little autism awareness of books. Books were ordered for that, and also a bunch of other little goodies. And we're hoping to touch base with the community and see if there's a specific story hour that maybe is just dedicated for children with autism or a specific need. So if there's a need, we're going to meet that. National Library Week is coming up in the next few weeks, and I'm going to pass out a flyer for the events that are happening at all the libraries. This has also been sent out to the International, and it will be running next week and the following week.
Give that to me. That's on Doyle there, will you, please?
And here's an extra one.
Thank you.
And I went through the housekeeping items, and that's it for now. Oh, and Denise will be attending. She got accepted to the Leadership Institute at the end of the month, so she will be gone for 4 days.
Good.
And she will be reporting that to the board in May. And staff will be applying. I put it in the community outreach flyer, the little sheet where I put the community outreach events that the library has been going to. 3 staff members are going to be applying for the Library Institute up at Prescott. It's going to be for a whole week in June. It's the first time that the library is going to be sending out staff members to that, and I will keep you posted.
Okay. Very good. comments? Jerry? Marva?
I'm fine. This is
Ed?
The only thing I want to add is, have the raffles gone through in all of the branches? And I went out of my way to get patrons for Rio Rico and Tubac, the book giveaway to be the one selecting the tickets instead of myself as a person representing Friends, because I thought it was more important for patrons to be involved in the process also, and it worked out real well. And I just wonder if Nogales also, I think Jerry and Anna participated in that, and it's been helpful. And I just want to congratulate Danitza on the letter to the editor that came out in the paper, and just what sort of feedback you might be getting, the library, the branches might be getting from that particular letter that I thought was very effective, and it's reflective of the events around the centennial celebration. One final question is, have the banners gone up and the distribution carried out?
The banners are up at the county libraries, also at the main library. They were given to the supervisor, the director of streets, Tony Santa Cruz, here in the city, and he's going to be putting them up. I know I've seen some around already.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
Okay, I just hadn't seen.
Juanita?
No.
Okay. Future agenda items. Juanita?
Will there be an update on the Sonoita project?
Yes.
On
That's on there all the time.
Excellent.
Ed?
Just progress that we established through Friends.
Progress on what?
That we established
Friends.
through Friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You put that down? You write that? Okay. Marva?
the Saturday hours for Brian. I know he wants it back on the agenda again
For May?
for the next meeting.
Okay.
He asked.
I think we'll probably we won't put it down as that. We'll probably put down there the feedback that you got from the mayor and council on the budget itself. Okay?
Okay.
Jerry?
Nothing. I will not be here next meeting. I'll be in Guatemala.
Guatemala, huh? Well, visit some libraries there and give us
take
back a
pictures.
report.
Okay.
Okay? Alrighty, our next meeting is scheduled for May the 17th at 10:30 here. Councilman Doyle, thank you very much for attending our meeting. Very nice. You're the first councilman to show up here to show an interest in the functioning of the library and the library board and everything. We appreciate very much your participation, and any way you can help us during the NITSA's budget presentation will be greatly appreciated by the community, especially the young children who use the library.
I was in here earlier, it said we had the government affairs up there at Rio Rico. I forgot to say that they send the greetings, Mr. Verdugo, Greg Lucero, and Annie Reed, so
Okay,
I'm over here.
all right. Thank you, Councilman Doyle, and thank you for attending. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 12:04.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Delsey,
Second.
seconded by Marva Twait, that this meeting be adjourned at 12:04. Before I adjourn the meeting, Councilman Doyle, Brianna Rodriguez, next to you, is our new member of this board. She's recommended by the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors, so that you know that she'll be on this board. She'll be seated at the next meeting in May. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew her, okay?
This is a preliminary screening.
This meeting,
You don't want to just take it.
okay. This meeting is adjourned at 12:04. Thank you. ¿Dónde vas tan rápido?
I mean, this.
Pues aquí.